Hi friends, welcome to Air to Earth Tarot. I'm Ange, and this is going to be a reading for Pisces. Yes, for Pisces. So, Pisces for the month of December 2020. I should probably add that, right? So, really happy to be reading. I needed some time off to get a new device. My laptop broke. But happy to be back reading and communing with you all. So, if you haven't checked out my video on just my reading differently and phrasing things more as questions as opposed to statements, and future reading and fortune reading, and kind of demystifying the whole tarot reading experience, then check out that video because I do talk a little bit about why I'm going to be doing that and some of the conclusions that I've come to just personally as a reader. So check that out if you haven't already. And I'm also going to be doing some podcast episodes on all of this stuff, sharing some of the things that I've learned and my ideas on the subject. So make sure you check that out. All information regarding Air to Earth you can find on Instagram. So that information will be in the description box below. So make sure you check that out. Also, any information you would like to know on decks that I'm using, on how you can get in contact with me, all that good stuff will be in the description box below as well. Okay? So, Pisces. We are going to pull 2 cards in love, 2 cards in career, 2 cards in personal development. We will clarify each of those positions with another deck, and then we will close it off with an animal oracle card. What do we have for Pisces for December 2020? We made it, guys. Next month is December. What a year. What a year. All right, Pisces, December 2020. What do we have for Pisces? Spirits, guides, angels, ancestors. What do we have for Pisces for December 2020? What do we have for Pisces? We have the Ten of Swords in reverse. What else do we have for Pisces? Oh. Let's try this again. What do we have for Pisces for December 2020? Page of Swords in reverse. I will show you all the cards as I read them. Let me just get the spread out. What do we have in career for Pisces, December 2020? Six of Cups. Seven of Pentacles in reverse. And what do we have in personal development for Pisces, December 2020? Empress. And the Eight of Pentacles. Okay, so in love, we got the Ten of Pentacles in reverse, Ten of Swords in reverse, and the Page of Swords in reverse. Let's take it apart. I'll show you them upright. So first, the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords talks about kind of, in a way it could be giving up. In a way it can be a really hard fought battle. A situation where a situation where you just aren't, it's just not going the way that you had hoped. The swords have to do with ideas, intellect, could be actual fighting, communication. So the fact that both of these came out in reverse, I'm wondering, and I would love for you to think about situations in your life where you're just not, I'll put it this way. How do you see yourself as a communicator? What kind of communicator do you see yourself as? Do you see yourself as someone who's a good listener, which is a huge part of communication? A lot of times when we think of communication, we think of speaking. But do you listen? Are you a good listener, Pisces? And if so, what makes you a good listener? What makes a good listener? These are things that I would think about, and how they affect the situations and the people closest to you. So if there's conflict in some of your situations with other people, like your loved one, your partner, your family, your children, your parents, your friends, your colleagues, if there's conflict there and you just can't seem to find a solution to it, consider listening. Consider actually listening and listening to understand. The Page of Swords upright can be someone who's really excited about their ideas, who's really excited to share, really excited to have people hear them. And they may be really good ideas, like this imagery is, especially in this deck, is, it talks about fruit. It talks about ideas that are going to be beneficial to the parties involved, in reverse, again, I'm just thinking of listening. I'm thinking about the other side, the all too important side of communication, of listening, the art of listening, and listening to understand, not listening to react or to respond. So Pisces, I would challenge you to think about that. How can you improve your relationships, the ones you care about, right? How can they improve just based on listening? So play around with that idea. In career, we have the Six of Cups and the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. Hi, how are you? I'm good. The Six of Cups. Don't worry, my nephew and niece are not being tortured. That's just how they play. Six of Cups. So the Six of Cups talks about the good old days, The Six of Cups, I'll hold it up so you can see. The Six of Cups archetype energy is the good old days of innocence, of man, when things were good, So I could really understand if we're all kind of thinking like this, because 2020 has just been different. Whether good or bad, it's just been very, very different. And so we all like familiarity. We all like that comfort of knowing what's coming next, And so it's easy when things change to just kind of look back with rose-colored glasses, as they say. So are you feeling this way about a work situation? Could be colleagues. It could be an old job. Obviously, it could be, again, just thinking about the good old days and which there's nothing wrong with in and of itself, right? But I would ask, Pisces, you got the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. The Seven of Pentacles is a much more grounded, a much more practical kind of energy. And it has to do with kind of appreciating how far you've come. And so I would challenge you, Pisces, to think about where you may not be appreciating your past. If we look back and only see the good, then we are shorting ourselves the lessons of the bad, right? So think about an old relationship. If you were in a relationship that ended for good reason, things went bad, right? But you only look back and hello, how you doing? You only look back and think like, you only see the good, and you're like, oh, why did I ever break up with that person? And then you go back and you're met with the reality of the good and the bad, right? So if we discount our memories and fix them to only see the good in a situation, the damage that can ensue, I think, is obvious. So Pisces, I would challenge you to think about that. It's in the career space, so I'll frame it in the terms of how you make your money, side jobs, main job, career, whatever the case is. But are you looking back with only rose-colored glasses, or are you shorting yourself the lessons that were learned there? Don't short yourself. Remember it wholly. Remember the good and the bad, and use all information to make decisions or decide how you feel about something. Especially if you're thinking about taking a step in either direction based on how you feel, if that makes sense. So just make sure you don't short yourself the experience of good and bad. Bad has a very particular function. It is truly fall in North Carolina. It's so beautiful. So if you see leaves falling, that's what that is. Okay, in personal development, we have the Empress and the Eight of Pentacles. So this is actually the opposite of what I just read for career. This is appreciating yourself, Pisces. Finding ways to appreciate yourself, to love yourself, self-care, self-love, all that good stuff. It is a feminine kind of energy as well. So it is fruitful. It's being in a space where you can create, where you can nourish, where you can feed other people. So Pisces, I would challenge you to think about that. What has you feeling like that, if anything, and if you don't feel that way, what has you feeling like that? Are you comfortable in that energy, Pisces? Are you comfortable with people looking to you for nourishment in some way? Now, that could be literally, that could be children, right? But that could also be kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? God, I hate when this happens. There's literal and then there's figurative. There we go. Figuratively, where, this could be friends calling you for advice. This could be people leaning on you for, like I said, their nourishment, for a certain satisfaction. Are you okay with that? Are you okay with being in that position? Is it mutual? Do you feel most powerful when people are doing that? Do you need that from people? These are all really important questions to ask yourself. But the Empress energy is kind of feeling untouchable, like you don't need anyone or anything in particular. Not in a, tyrannical kind of way, but just in a self-sufficient kind of way. And then coupled with the Eight of Pentacles, again, self-sufficiency is what I'm getting here. So the Eight of Pentacles is about hard work, conscientiousness. So conscientiousness meaning, do you work just as hard when your boss is at work versus when they're not? Or when there's some sort of clear reward set out for you versus a regular day at work. Like, conscientious people tend to have a high sense of duty. And so Pisces, I would challenge you to ask yourself, where do those two concepts meet for you? Do you consider yourself a conscientious person? And is that good or bad? Does that feed your value? I would argue personally that it does, that being conscientious is actually really, really important. But how do you feel about it, Pisces? How do you feel about being or not being a conscientious person? Do you have a high sense of duty in your life? Doesn't have to be at work also. It could be in terms of your family, whatever roles you play in life. Do you take them seriously? How seriously do you take them, I guess? And how does that feed your self-worth and value? So let's clarify. Can we clarify the Ten of Swords and the Page of Swords, please? We got the Seven of Cups and the Two of Wands in reverse. What about the Six of Cups? Thank you. Well, Five of Wands. And what about the Empress and the Eight of Pentacles? Ace of Swords. Okay. So, in love, all your relationships, Seven of Cups and the Two of Wands. So we talked about listening. We talked about communication, right? So I would challenge you, especially with these two clarifying cards, the Seven of Cups and the Two of Wands in reverse. This is like an impasse. So again, I would challenge you, Pisces, if you are finding yourself at an impasse with the people you love, where you're not seeing eye to eye, communication is breaking down, I would challenge you to listen more and talk less. And see what that does for you. Like, take note of it. Do it on purpose and take note of how things change in the dynamic of your relationships. I'll leave that there. In the career situation, we have the Five of Wands. This may be something I would argue, I would challenge you rather, to think about. If you hesitate to think about a past situation for what it is, the positive and the negative, to dig deep and challenge yourself and ask why. The Five of Wands is a kind of defensive kind of energy. Like, I don't want to, maybe even like resistant kind of energy. So if you feel yourself doing that inside, even as you watch this, as I talk about this past situation that you may be looking at through rose-colored glasses, challenge yourself, dig deeper, and push and stay there and be like, well, why? Why do I feel like this? Why do I feel annoyed at the idea of looking at it both ways? And in personal development, we have the Ace of Swords, which is, what's the next victory for you? When do you feel your strongest? When do you feel the most excited to be you? That's a good way to put it, Pisces. When you feel excited to be you, what are the conditions that create that? And how can you continue to create that for yourself in life in general? What has you feeling like optimal sense of self-worth? Or not, And looking into what the conditions are that create either situation, right? So let's close it off for Pisces, December 2020. What advice do we have for Pisces? Thank you. The Goose. Take time to rest and recuperate rather than continue your striving. Self-explanatory, right? Rest. What does rest look like for you, Pisces? And how can you incorporate it now, sooner than later? Thanks so much for watching, Pisces. I'm excited for your December. Contemplate, think about these questions, answer them, and see what you come up with. I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.